Hello everyone. September the 15th. Finally I feel totally grounded and well acclimatized again. Took me a little longer, so that's why I had to take a little longer break than usual. Anyway, I'm all good and everything is fine. Beautiful weather here, back in Edmonton, Canada. Really enjoyable fall weather, yes. So here we are, 15th of September today, and it is a very powerful day in the Mayan calendar. 3 Ahau, the yellow electric solar lord, a season day. This is a very particularly powerful day. There's only 4 of those, as you see in the grid of the 260 days in that blueprint, which over and over repeats itself, which is what we know as the Mayan calendar. And that is playing out every 260 days, a new beginning, a new round kicks in. There's 20 different characters, as you see here. They are playing out over and again, and if you read this calendar the right way, you start at the top left here on the screen and you go vertically down, and after you reach the bottom you continue in the second column and go vertically down. So we are right here now. This is a very powerful day just before we are heading into the core column, the spinal column of time. Every 260 days we are going through such a 20-day period of super powerful manifestation energy. It's kind of the idea of the Mayans is the past and the future. That's where they meet. There's a perfect balance. In that sense, it's the easiest to be in the now, to just... That was the wind. Here's the wind. Okay. So these 3 days, let me just show you quickly. This is my resource old website. You can, probably I'm aware of that, the Cosmos Within, and here you have the Mayan calendar. A section of my old site is dedicated to that. You can learn here certainly the structure of it, and also what day you were born. There's an easy link where you can find out pretty much any day. Here it is hiding, and let me just try it out. I'm pretty sure it still works. Yes, it does work well. So you find out that today, yes, it is 3 Ahau, the yellow electric sun. So let me go back here now once more. So here we have the season days, the 4 season days. Days of initiation and new beginnings. The number 3 is electric. It's the energy which spins the wheel, and these 4 characters, Ahau, which it is today, Men, the eagle, Oak, the dog, the loyal heart, and Chikchan, the snake, the celestial snake. There are the archetypes. All the other 16 are, in that sense, descendants of these 4 primal energies. You could also, it is they are the archetypes. That's the only way to truly say it. So the 4 days of the burner cycle, yes, it is. So today 3 Ahau inaugurates the season of fullness. During these 52 days coming of southern energy is projecting and undertaking and undertakings are growing ripe toward recognition and completion. So it is the transformation phase we are in a bigger way said. Let's just look at the whole cycle we are in right now. The last time we were at Demise, the beginning, that was May the 19th. We then went through the first 52 days, the first 4 13-day cycles into okay, it's a little hard to read and to hear. That's 4 times 13, and we then entered, that was the red eastern castle of the generation of light. That's when a new intention is created. And then by July the 10th we went into the white northern cycle of castle of purification, and as late as August the 31st we are now in the blue central castle of transformation. Started of August the 31st. Then we were in these 10 portal days, and the Queen passed here on this day. That was the 8th of September, in the middle of this powerful sequence, under the guide of Chikchan, the celestial snake, which is all about attuning to the physical manifest world through our instincts, through our survival powers. So this is a deeply instinctual energy which was initiated on August the 31st. That connection with our bellies, we can literally feel it, I guess. Then so let's just first look at the whole thing, and then I will zoom in on where we are right now, because it's really showing in many ways we're getting to the core of the matter over the next 2 months or so. This is a very, very critical, extremely powerful time in this year 2022, which is the year of the Great Fight, as we all know, as I have shown you already in early January. When it was clear, astrology showed it very strongly. This would be the year of the Great Fight, and we got that confirmed from several people. And aside from the astrology, Jacqueline Hobbs is one of my really trusted sources. Oracle Girl, those of you who haven't done so yet, go look her up. She is amazing. She's right on the money. oraclegirl.org. Anyway, so here we are. Today, September 15. We will be in the core column between the 16th of September to the 5th of October. And then we get into the next 20-day lineup, and the 10 portal days here will be between October 11 and October 20th. On October the 22nd, we're moving on into the next castle, the yellow southern castle of expansion of the light. So the transformation is the core period. Naturally, we're right in it. I mean, the Queen's passing was a great symbol of a huge epoch coming to an end, and as many people had predicted, they went into a total disarray. Just you might have seen that clip with King Charles getting totally upset about his leaking pen. So this is just little things are leaking out of how they really feel. There's nothing of a celebration of a new king in the air. This is pretty much that was the this is the funeral of the empire, what we are seeing. That's why they extended it to 17 days of mourning. Very, very interesting, that number 17 again showing up. You can think of it what you want. It's extraordinary in many ways. So yes, we are in this phase of transformation. And then October the 22nd, we are moving into the next chapter of expansion, and no surprise, Saturn is turning retrograde, no, direct, stationary. Direct, sorry, I said that wrong. Stationary direct on October the 23rd. This is a date I have been talking about already now for 2 months or so. I said this would be a moment to start seeing very strong and serious shifts and changes. Up to then we are building up, yes, but Saturn will take in its heels in those 18th degree, actually it's the 19th degrees, 18 and something, so that's the 19th degree of Aquarius it will be. And as I mentioned, Uranus just changed direction a few weeks ago, reaching its yearly maximum in the 19th degree of Aquarius. So there we have this resonance of the two 19th degrees and 19th degrees are super, super powerful and important. And I will show you something in my next video. I will give you a little teaser at the end. Yes, it's showing up in many, many ways. We are really coming to a culmination. I'm super excited as an astrologer being able to share all that with you. So yes, October the 22nd, we are getting into the yellow southern castle of expansion, and then by December the 13th, we are moving into the final section, into the green central castle, when the renewal is starting to become a real theme. That will be one Muluk. This will be December the 13th, initiating the fifth and final castle. The castles are super, super powerful subsections of the 260 days. Here I have a chapter on them on my site, so you can read a little more. I mean, this I did this more than 20 years ago. I never edited it, so it's definitely not perfect, but it is the compilation of a lot of research I did at the time into the Mayan calendar. I was in Mexico in the 80s, and I truly enjoyed myself there and soaked up all these energies. And I was then also guided to work with the Mayan calendar, as you see, as one of the most easily understandable rhythms we are moving through. They say it's the frequency of the entire galaxy the Mayan calendar is depicting. Here it is once more, the 260-day grid. So we are here now, and today, a day of initiation, of digging into something totally new, revamping the motion of evolution. It is really the churning of the wheel. That's why it's called the burner cycle. You give the wheel of karma a good spin, the wheel of time, or whatever you call it, and accelerate it towards a new high. So today is an interesting day also astrologically. The moon just entered Gemini. Yesterday was the 9th of 15 Uranus occultations. That is the chart when it was exact, when the moon was hiding Uranus for some time, and it was visible, this occultation, from this location. So let me explain. That is the that is where Uranus was rising, right? To say it right. Here in where it's blue, that is where it was not visible. That is the back side of Earth in that sense. And here in this red area, it was behind the moon, but not visible because it was daylight at the same time. This blue phase, that is the area where it was in twilight, and where this white line passes through, that would have been where you could see it, where it was dark enough in the skies that you could see Uranus disappearing behind the moon for some time. So all through Russia here and the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, Africa, into the heart of Africa. So this should be a pretty direct hit of that Uranus moon energy. And as I said earlier, occultations are super interesting for two reasons. Not only is Uranus disappearing behind the moon for some time, in that sense falling out of the picture, kind of being suppressed, you could say, Uranian energy. However, and there it comes in a much more powerful way through the moon, and invisible in that sense, the moon soaking this Uranian or whatever energy it is the moon is hiding, the moon soaking this energy up and then filtering it and passing it on to the Earth. So it becomes way more tangible, way more physically experiential. The wind is really playing here. No, it is Yahtzee. Okay. Yeah, that was our sweet little dog. Not so little, but sweet anyway. So this is the chart of that Uranus occultation, the 9th of 15. Again, one of these many signs that 2022 is a very, very special year. For 15 times in a row, 15 months in a row, each time when the moon visits this degree in mid-Taurus, Uranus will be hidden for some time, at least in some areas visible on this planet. 15 times, started in February 2022. You can go back to my earlier recordings, which anyway I am always encourage you to do so, because I'm never just talking about a certain small time frame. I'm always giving you a bigger picture, speaking of something which I then probably won't cover for a while, because there's so many different things going on simultaneously. It is truly an abundance of signals we're getting on all levels. So that's why I'm so sure this is a hugely exceptional and special year we're in. We have been building up to this, and yes, 2021 was a special to 2020. Each year has been really a build up, but we are reaching higher and higher plateaus, and the year 2022 definitely brings us to a plateau we haven't even been dreaming about 2 years ago. We have come far, we have come enormously a long ways, and we are winning. There's all the signs. It is super exciting. And again, this chart, I mean, how much more can you say than look at it with Palace risings. Now this chart is good for a month. This is basically for this next month how Uranus will express through the emotional and I would say the whole sensory experience on this planet. The moon is very much connected to that. The moon also has to do with our primal selves, with that part of ourselves which we usually don't recognize directly, unless it then expresses itself in ways, for example, that we generate some reaction, physical reaction to something, or which can be to anything, an information which shocks you on a deep level, or which breaks something open. It can be you're meeting someone who has a deep impact on you. There's many ways, but it's definitely under the belly line, you could say, under the belt line, where it hits you, what the moon has to resonates with. It's very deep, very profound. So that's why this Uranian touchdown is so important and has been building. We are now in phase 9 of 15. And Pallas rising, as I said, in Cancer, in the moon's sign, after all, together with Bianor. So Pallas is the ability to connect the dots, in a very simple way said. And Pallas also is in Cancer now, together with the black moon. So we really get in touch with those more emotionally charged truths, and are able to see the deeper layers of facts. That's what Cancer is. Always brings us also into a historical context. That's one of the powerful things of the sign Cancer. It is that cosmic library. It is the roots. It is where history is growing out of, which connects us with our ancestors and with their whole past. That's all Cancer. So there's lots of that coming into the field of consciousness. And then this I found super interesting, this 2844 Aquarius here at the midheaven, just 9 days earlier, when okay, let me just change charts here now. 9 days earlier, I will go back to the one I just had there on the screen. 9 days earlier, Venus entered Virgo, and that was the degree which was rising then. So Venus 00 degree Virgo, and just 4 or 5 minutes before coming up over the eastern horizon here in Greenwich at the 0 meridian. So this in itself would have been a great indicator that some big changes regarding Venus naturally resonating with the Queen. I guess that's a very simple allegory there. Everybody can see that. I mean, there's so many millions of people who are still holding her high up on a pedestal, worshipping her almost as something not made of flesh and blood. So there's and that is coming to an end naturally. That is the one thing. And it was interesting, actually I only saw this in retrospect, but on the 6th, actually still on the 5th of September, just hours after Venus had entered Virgo, there was this huge X-class solar flare which was directed at Venus. This was a flare of exceptional powers. I have it here still for you. I wanted to play it. This is on spaceweather.com, and you have the archive function. Go to the 6th of September 2022 and you can replay it yourself. Major far side CME and radiation storm is underway after this enormous blast, and I'm just showing you here once more in a bigger screen. This was a huge blast from the backside of the Sun, and that's where Venus was at the time as seen from Earth, at the backside. So this is certainly related to the Queen's passing, which just happened 3 days later, and you see it immediately. I clocked that 425 out of analyzing actually this chart here I'm showing you. Now let's go back here. If we scroll down here, you see this is what was measured with satellites. That jump of powerful electrons of high charge, some up to 7 mega electron volts. So this is in the full spectrum. So if I did the math here, because they didn't mention an exact time when it went off, but I did exact measurement with my measuring stick, and I came up, this was 16 hours 25 minutes universal time when this went off, this huge flare towards Venus. That is the chart I drew, and this is now the geocentric one. I should actually turn this into a heliocentric, then you see. Let me just do this. Okay, so this is the heliocentric chart now for that moment. You have to think of this in the middle here is the Sun. Earth is here, and that's where we are observing from. We are looking this direction. And if we look towards the Sun, then Venus was at the time here behind the Sun, pretty much at the other end. This would be the opposite end. That is the projection point of the Sun here. So you see Venus pretty much exactly on the other side. That means it is in that field of getting directly blasted. Now look at this. I found this pretty amazing. I dug up Queen Elizabeth's birth chart and look at the synchronicity. 2533 is her midheaven, her consciousness axis, and this was in midheaven in Greenwich as the global chart in that moment when the flare went off just 2 days earlier or so, 3 days earlier. There's lots more synchronicities here I could go deeper into, but this in itself just blew me away. So it is a redefinition of the Venus principle happening while Venus is in Virgo. And Virgo is one of the signs. Venus is particularly nicely placed. It represents abundance and the richness of harvest in that sense. It is that resonance with accomplishment and beauty, perfection, all these things, all these qualities are coming through now in a much stronger way. Now look at this. I want to show you one more thing which ties in with my next video. This is the latest Uranus occultation. With that 3 degrees Cancer rising, 2844, that's where the rising was when Venus entered Virgo. So this, whatever is now happening from the 14th onward for the next 4 weeks, is bringing that Venus Virgo entry chart into a higher frequency, making it even more important, you could say. Now another chart I want to show you with that same configuration, and that is Okay, it takes a little while here sometimes. So this is the chart I want to show you with Jupiter at this degree and the Sun. Now this is music from the future. I thought this was important at this point because it totally lends itself to be presented at this point. So Salacia and MakeMake are two Kuiper Belt objects who are part of a group of minor planets who are beyond Neptune and Pluto both. They have longer orbits in the range of anything plus 247, 48, 49 years, which is the Pluto family. So these ones, there's about 10 or 12 so far, I guess, or maybe even more, I might be wrong, but there's a whole bunch. They're non-resonant with Pluto and Neptune. They are kind of breaking that dependency on these powerful influences on the collective, break them a little bit up and open. Salacia and MakeMake are two of these agents, and they have 35 exact oppositions with each other between 2016 and 2033, and this is the central event when, as seen from the Sun, they're exactly opposed to one another, because from the Sun's perspective all planets always move forward, so there's no such thing as retrogradations and multiple oppositions. So this is the one and only. Salacia will be at 1059 Aries and MakeMake at 1059 Libra. Now this has an exact resonance with this Uranus occultation chart. Kind of brings this moment for the first time strongly into our focus, and no surprise, a day prior to the Uranus occultation we had the let me just now pull it up quickly. One sec. The 13th of these 35 exact oppositions was exact on September the 13th, just one day, 2 days. Now in the past from where I'm recording this, but this is really just setting the stage. This is a super important event because the next opposition of the two is not due before April the 12th, 2023. So this one is really setting the stage for the next 7 months or so. And you see MakeMake 754, Salacia 754, and that is exactly where Mercury is and will be for the next while. Actually, Mercury and Jupiter are conjunct these two outer planets for pretty much 6 weeks, because Mercury turned retrograde here on the 10th and moving 3 times over these degrees. So anyway, I really wanted to give you the full story here, show you why this all matters, and here you see it even more. So that was the last new moon when Sun and Moon met in Virgo at 4 degrees 03 in Virgo, and at the time we had MakeMake and Salacia in the ascendant axis, and we have that exact same configuration here again on the 13th when the two opposed each other. So there's this resonance going on again, and Quabar and Pholus here are T-squaring the two. This was last time the case in April 2021. I will show you the whole picture. That Makemake Salacia theme is super important. In a nutshell, it is Makemake, the daredevil, who is ready to take on the devil, literally, to go through shark-infested waters in order to gain the prize, which would put this young man into an elevated position for the whole tribe for a whole year, being the direct connection shaman to channel Makemake's energy, Makemake being the creator god of the inhabitants of Easter Island. So there's lots and lots of mythology there in the background, and Salacia on the other side is Neptune's wife. How about that? So they are teaming up here with each other, and the story I will be spinning in my next video is that they are a great team to bring Neptune around. Makemake is helping Salacia, inspiring her, generating strategies, because Salacia is the energy which Neptune is totally fascinated by. He actually, she was hiding from him for some time. She wanted to keep her virginity, and anyway, that's another story. But she was so good at hiding that he actually was starting to grieve. That's what the story says. Neptune was grieving. So Neptune is really deeply attached and fell under a deep spell. He then finally sent the dolphin. That's how the story goes, down to the deep sea, the deep Atlantic Ocean, where Salacia was hiding from him, and the dolphin would bring the message and turn her around, and she would then give in and come up to the surface and become Neptune's wife, as the story goes. And this is the same story in both traditions. In the Roman tradition, where Salacia and Neptune are the names of the two, whereas in the Greek tradition we have Aphrodite and Poseidon, who are having exactly that same configuration. This in itself is interesting, how the Roman and the Greek mythology are many times exactly mirroring each other. But the long story short, Salacia plays a super important role here in conquering, or maybe conquering is the wrong word here, in transmuting Neptune's energy. I guess that's how we should really see it. She is the feminine influence here, and as we know, that's a basic principle of how the two polarities interact. The feminine always is the one which deeply influences the male principle and is the one which truly rules how things manifest, where things go. It's the hidden influence also behind the emperor that resonates with hexagram 54, the marrying maiden. Those of you who are into the I Ching which I have been talking about too, which is that area in Capricorn where Pluto was in for many years between 2012 and 2018 or so. Anyway, the long story short, this opposition, long-standing for 17 years, started in 2016. And those of you who know a little how to read our recent history, you all know that this was a turning point, the year 2016. That was when not only we had an unexpected president in the United States, we also had the Brexit event. These were the two big sticks which were thrown into the wheels of that WEF program of steering humanity in a certain direction. So that was when things really started to go sideways for them. These are just the first 5, and then when we look at the first 6 oppositions, and this is then the next screen showing you all the coming or remaining oppositions of the 2 into the year 2033. Right now we are here. This is what we saw yesterday, the 13th of September, and the last one was 18th of April, and the next one will be on the 12th of April 2023. So this is a big story, so stay tuned. Anyway, I want to stop right here and thank you for joining and listening, and if you think of someone who might enjoy what you're hearing here, please pass it on. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye bye.